Hello everyone. So we're about to start the video we're learning more about COVID-19, about prevention, how to stop it, what causes it, how it spreads, and some interesting questions that people might have about how to stop COVID or what to do or what not to do, right? So please listen along to part 1, 2, 3, and 4, and take a look at your worksheet and try to follow along, right? If you see in your worksheet part 1, it's asking you a question, try to listen out for the answer in the video. Of course, this is a video, so you can stop, pause, rewind, go back, and listen many times until you get the answer. All right, let's get started. Hope you guys are well and looking forward to learning.
All right, so if we look at these pictures, what do you think they are? There's one word or a few words we could say that describes all of the vocabulary, the pictures that you see. What do you think? Oh, okay, to be sick, right? Sickness. Disease, that's another one. To not be well. Yes, if you feel unwell or you're not well, it's the same as sick. I'm not feeling well. I'm sick. Yes, these are different ways that we can be sick. But there is a better word that we can use that describes all of the vocabulary, all the pictures that you see, the different ways that we can be sick. Now, if we're going to look at the word, does anyone know the word? Right, so in part 1, we're looking at symptoms. Now, symptoms is the word that I was looking for. It means all of the ways that your body tries to show you that you are sick. So if you have a fever and a cough, maybe you have a cold. You have fatigue, loss of taste or smell, difficulty breathing, all of those. Maybe you have COVID-19. These are symptoms, ways that our body tries to tell us and show us that we are sick. So what are symptoms? Right, take a look at your worksheet. Symptoms are the body's way of showing us that we are sick. If we cough, have a runny nose, and a fever, our bodies could be telling us that we have a cold or a flu. So, of course, if you have the symptoms of a fever and a cough, you might go to the doctor and they will say that you have a cold or maybe the flu and hopefully not COVID-19. Now, of course, when you are sick, you need to go to see a doctor or a nurse. And of course, they are at a special place. Yes, a hospital. You can also go to a smaller hospital, which is usually closer to us, and there are many of them around where we live. A clinic. And if the doctor or the nurse tells you to get some medicine, where do you buy the medicine? Right, at a pharmacy. Many countries around the world use the word pharmacy. But in the United States of America, they use a different word. Does anyone know? Drugstore. Yes. So if someone says, I'm going to the pharmacy or the drugstore, it means they're going to get some medicine. Now, do you know what we call the person who works at a pharmacy or a drugstore? We call them a pharmacist. A pharmacist works at a pharmacy. Okay, so if you go to a doctor, they might ask you what's wrong. Or maybe you wake up in the morning and you are not feeling well. Your mom or your dad will ask you what's wrong. And you can tell them your symptoms. I have, a sore throat. What's wrong? Oh, this could be one of two things. It could be, blowing your nose because you have a runny nose, or a cold, right? Because when you have a runny nose, many people have a cold. I have a cold. If you said runny nose or cold, they are both right. What's wrong? Look at the thermometer. He's checking his temperature because he has I have that's it, a fever. What's wrong? I have a headache. A nice and easy one. What's wrong? Ayo. I have, that's right, a runny nose. Yes. What's wrong? Oh, what symptom is this? I have, yes, I have a cough. All right, are there any more? No, we're done. Okay, but let's take a look. Now that we've reviewed some symptoms, let's take a look at this sickness or disease. This is a virus. And of course, we all know about this virus. For the last 3 years, it has been around and it's made our life very difficult. Right? We have to stay at home, or we have to wear a mask and wash our hands, and we can't go and see our friends. We can't go and be around people. Oh, yes, COVID-19, of course. The COVID-19 pandemic has been happening for 3 years now. When will it end? So now that we know about symptoms, what are the symptoms of COVID-19? Yes, there are a few main symptoms that we all know about. Yes, a cough, a fever. Many people can't taste anything. They lose their sense of taste. They also lose their sense of smell. They can't smell anything. Tiredness or fatigue, if you are very tired all the time. And of course, a sore throat. These are the main symptoms of COVID-19, but of course, there are others as well. We are all different, so we all get sick in different ways. Some of us will cough and have a fever. Some of us can't taste or can't smell and we have a sore throat. Or some of us will cough, have a fever, a headache, and a runny nose. We are all different. So we will have COVID-19 in different ways with different symptoms. But these are some of the main ones that most people will have. Part 2. What is COVID? All right. So take a look at your worksheet and check and answer the question. COVID-19 is a coronavirus disease. It was only found in animals, but many scientists believe that because our cities are growing very fast, humans are never far from animals. So that means that because there are many people every year, there are more and more people, our cities are growing and growing, we need more houses. We need to cut down trees and take away animals' homes. We don't need to, but we do this. It's very sad. So because we are moving in and taking over animals' homes, we are close to animals, even around Taipei City. We have built and built and built up until all the mountains where the animals are. We've pushed the animals into the mountains. So now we are all living close to animals, and this is where it starts. It's believed that a few hundred years ago, a coronavirus spread from animals and made humans sick. Right, so now because we are in close contact with a lot of animals, we have taken the animals in, they are our pets, we are eating them, they are close by, maybe they are in our yard or in a mountain close by. So maybe the coronavirus will jump from an animal to another animal to a person to many people. This is what scientists believe happened a few hundred years ago. Besides COVID-19, other coronaviruses you may know are SARS and MERS. Can you guess which coronavirus this is? This one happened in Taiwan 20 years ago, but luckily not many people died, or not many people were affected like COVID-19 is very, very different. All right, yes, SARS. And of course, this one originated in the Middle East. We call this one MERS. Okay, so of course they look quite similar to COVID-19, just different colors or shapes, but they have the same general shape, right? That's what a coronavirus looks like a circle with lots of spikes. All right, now I have a little video for you to watch. We're going to learn more about COVID, what it is, and what's happening to our everyday lives, and how to prevent it, how to keep safe and healthy. Right, so look at your worksheet and answer any questions there might be.
Coronavirus is a word people are talking about a lot lately. The coronavirus is a kind of germ that is making people sick all over the world. This kind of coronavirus is a new germ, and we are still learning about it. Maybe you've had to stay home from school before, or missed a basketball game or a dance recital when you didn't feel well. Part of the reason you stay home when you're sick is to feel better, and the other part is that when you're sick you can be contagious, which means your germs can spread to someone else and get them sick. One thing we do know about the coronavirus is that it is very contagious. When someone gets sick from it, they can spread it to other people through coughing, sneezing, touching hands, and even talking too closely. For some people, the virus makes them feel only a little bit sick, like they have a small cold. For other people, the virus makes them feel very sick. When they do get very sick, they get a fever, a bad cough, and can have trouble breathing. Someone who gets the virus can pass their germs to other people, even if they don't feel very sick. That's why we all need to work together to make sure the coronavirus doesn't make more people sick. Some of the things we can all do are things that you do at home and school all the time. Wash your hands often with soap and water. Cover your cough and sneeze into your elbow. Some of the things we are all doing together are new things, like staying home from school, not playing with our friends, not going to playgrounds or sports practices. You might have heard people call the way we're acting social distancing. Everyone has added some extra distance to their personal space to stop germs from spreading between us. It is not easy to stay apart from our friends and family members who live outside our own homes, but we can stay connected through phone calls, video chats, and even by mailing cards, letters, and drawings. When the germs do spread around, we have doctors and nurses working to help people feel better. You might be scared or confused about everything that is happening, and that's okay. But there are lots of people trying hard every day to make things better. You can be a helper too. Wash your hands a lot. Be patient with the adults around you. Wear a mask when you're out of the house and around people. And encourage your friends to learn about coronavirus.
All right, good. Yes, we all need to learn about coronavirus and how to prevent it. Right, so this is bringing us to part 3, how to stop, how to prevent COVID-19. So as you heard in the story, in the video, it's good to wash your hands, have social distancing, don't touch your face, wear a mask. These are all things we know. Don't go to crowded places with lots of people. So we learned about that already, and also we were reminded of it in the video. So let's take a look again. How do we stop COVID-19? We wash our hands. Yes, there is a step-by-step process, right? There are many steps to take to wash your hands. It's not just wash, 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 and you're done. It takes a while. Doctors and scientists suggest more than 20 seconds. 20 seconds or more. Yes, of course, we need to wear a mask as well, right? This is very important. Always wear a mask. Don't take it off if you're around other people. Always keep it on, even when you're in a restaurant. Take it off, put the food in your mouth, but put your mask back up if you want to talk, right? Many people are sitting in restaurants, eating and talking, and this is the place where COVID is spreading today. We need to stop that. All right, of course, avoid crowds. Don't go where there's lots of people. Stay at home, right? If you are going out and you're leaving your house, you are putting yourself at risk. If you touch the wrong thing or you're with the wrong person that has been exposed to COVID-19, then it's not nice to be sick. Even if COVID-19 is not as bad as it was 3 years ago, it still can be for some people. So it's better to prevent it. Prevention is better than cure. And of course, the last prevention, and an important one, is social distancing. Stand away from people. Don't stand right behind them or next to them, especially if you don't know them. Social distancing is about giving each other space, 1.5 meters or even more, right? So if you want to spend time with friends, you need to make sure that you are socially distancing. Okay. Wonderful. So now I have a video for you to watch. This is a TikTok video. It was very popular a few years ago around the world. It became a viral sensation, pardon the pun. And it's about how to stop COVID. It's a song and it's a dance, right? And it was very popular on TikTok. Maybe you've listened to it before or you've watched this TikTok song before. Now, there are many moves in the song. In the dance, moves are about washing your hands and about socially distancing, avoiding crowds, wearing your mask, not touching your mouth and your eyes and your nose, your face. Right, so let's take a look at the video. Look at your worksheet as well. This is where part 3, you'll be asked questions. There are 3 main ways to prevent and stop COVID in this TikTok video. So please take a look at your worksheet and write down the correct answers. COVID-19 should wash your hands for 20 seconds or more. Don't touch your face. And don't go to crowded spaces with lots of people. Okay, well, I think that's very helpful. Some of us don't really know the right way to wash our hands. We can get a bit lazy and do it a bit faster and not take all the steps. So it's good to remind ourselves of all the steps. All right, so if you're not sure, please do remind yourselves of the steps. We do have a little video coming up that will show you how to wash your hands properly. Right. So hopefully you know the three, and you watched and listened out for the 3 ways to prevent COVID in this TikTok video. Right. Now it's time for part 4. Frequently asked questions. Take it away, Teacher Brinley. What are the steps to wash hands properly?
Oh, wow, I'm on TV. That's great. Okay, I have a question. What are the steps to wash your hands properly, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic? I mean, I wash my hands properly, but sometimes I don't really know the exact steps that I need to take. If you can show us that, that would be great. Thank you very much. Oh wow, that is amazing. I had no idea that if you wanted to know how long 20 seconds was while you're washing your hands, you just hum happy birthday twice. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Can I eat at restaurants right now?
Oh hi, is this thing on? I have a question. My question would be, can I eat at restaurants? Can I go and sit, take my mask down and eat at a restaurant? Is that not dangerous? Especially if people are talking. I do worry about that. And what about if tables are so close and we're indoors, inside? I think if we're outside, it's better, or if we're inside and tables are far away from each other, I feel safe eating in a restaurant. But otherwise, I don't really, especially if people are talking. I think it's better if they want to sit in a restaurant and there are people close by, then it's better if everyone is quiet, they eat, and then if they want to talk, they put their mask back on. That just makes me feel better. What do you think? What are the rules about eating in restaurants these days?
So question 2, what advice do you have for eating indoors at restaurants in terms of distancing, airflow, and whatnot?
Well, first of all, what does the data say? The CDC and other evidence thus far suggests that eating indoors at a restaurant is the single highest risk activity we can engage in. 20-time greater risk of becoming infected with COVID-19 in general, largely because of the 4 variables that we have spoken about before. Time that you're in that space, usually it's not 10 minutes, it's an hour or 2 at least. The space indoors, not outdoors, the ventilation and airflow dynamics, a big question mark there. How close together you are with the person sitting not just at your table, but at other tables. We saw that from data released from China in an indoor restaurant where 1 infected person contaminated and infected 9 others sitting at different tables. And again, whether people are masked, usually you're not masked when you're eating and drinking. So every environment will differ here. Every restaurant will be different, but the data at this point does show it is not a low-risk activity.
I'm sorry, Doc, just quick, those barriers that people have up between those tables,
well, the virus can go above them and around them, so it is absolutely better than nothing, but it's not an armor suit.
Bottom line, keep your mask on.
That's right.
Period, point blank. All right, Doc, thank you. You can submit your questions to Dr. Jen on our Instagram at.
I agree. I think it's better to actually not go to restaurants right now. You can cook at home or you can get Uber Eats. But if you can't do that and you need to go to a restaurant, make sure that you are wearing a mask and you only take it off to eat. And if you want to talk, put your mask back on. Make sure tables are not close by. Try to find a table at the back in the corner or even outside if possible. You need better airflow, right? We cannot just have a small, stuffy space and then people are talking and then all the spit and the germs and viruses are going everywhere. So if we can try to make sure we're safe, then I think it's okay. But it's difficult when we are in a small restaurant and everyone is sitting right next to you and they're talking and they have their mask off. I just can't do that. So please be careful, everyone. It's better to stay at home. Mom and dad cook for you, or you get some Uber Eats or Food Panda. And if you go to a restaurant, make sure you're sitting outside, or you are at a restaurant, a big restaurant that has a lot of space, and you can try to find a table far away from everyone else. Socially distance your table.
Is it okay to wear a wet mask?
Hi, I have a question. When my mask is wet from the rain, I was in the rain and my mask is very wet. Can I still use it? Can I dry it out and use it again? Or should I just throw it away?
The Verified team is here to separate fact from fiction. And with all of the rain and snow that we had last week, your face mask might have gotten wet. So is it any good when that happens? We put that question to the experts. Here's Evan Kozlov with the answer.
When it comes to mask wearing, there are a lot of conflicting opinions on social media. That's why the Verified team is here to get you the facts from the vetted experts. In many parts of the country, we saw our first big snowfall.
More fresh snow this way, let's move back!
That includes on the National Mall, where we saw this epic snowball fight go down. And with all this wet weather, our masks might start to feel like a wet rag. But besides being uncomfortable, are these masks any good when they're wet? Let's verify. do public health experts recommend swapping out your mask if it gets wet? Our sources here are the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the World Health Organization, and a pair of infectious diseases experts, Dr. Linda Nabha and Dr. Al Dababneh from the Mayo Clinic Health System. And right off the bat, we could tell you that the CDC says that if you're out and about, you should carry a spare. Writing in part, quote, change a mask when it becomes wet. A wet mask is harder to breathe through, is less efficient at filtering, and vents more around the edges of the mask. It is especially important to have one or more replacement masks during cold weather. If your reusable mask becomes wet, put it in a sealed plastic bag until you can wash it. Our experts agree.
You're going to have trouble breathing through a wet mask. Number two, it can be a harbor, it can harbor bacteria and fungus. And number three, it may not work as well if it's wet.
If you have a paper bag that you use for groceries, if you get that bag wet, it's not going to hold as many groceries. It's going to rip, fall apart, and that's what we're trying to prevent.
The WHO offered the same advice via these graphics, telling you not to use a wet or damp mask. Go get a dry one instead. So we can verify that yes, public health officials recommend that you swap out a wet mask for a dry one. With your verify, this is Evan Coslaw.
Oh, I see. All right. So it's better to throw out the wet mask, to swap it out and replace it with a dry mask. The wet mask will stick to your mouth. It will be heavy and fall down. It will be open on the sides because it creates a suction. And then you are open to germs getting in. Bacteria can form on your wet or damp mask. So it's always best to just throw it out, swap it out, and replace it. All right, that's the end of the video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, look after yourself. Take all the steps you can to prevent getting COVID, even though everyone is saying it's not so bad right now. Compared to 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it's still better to prevent it and not get COVID, right? COVID-19. So prevention is better than cure. So take care of yourself, and remember you can watch this video many times, and if you are doing the worksheet, you can stop it, pause it, play it, and go back to hear it many times in order to write down the correct answer. All right, guys, hope to see you back at school soon. Goodbye.